Hello?
What is that?
Hey.
Take me back to old Yazoo. Everything up here is new. I can't stand it, just must land it.
Hello? Hello?
Camping alone in the wilderness can be a peaceful experience until it isn't. For YouTuber Dak, a solo camping trip in the remote wilderness started as a simple survival challenge, but ended in a terrifying and unexplained encounter. His plan was straightforward: kayak deep into the woods, build a shelter, hunt for food, and spend the night alone. He documented everything, from setting up camp to gathering firewood, even sharing his struggles after getting drenched by the icy waves on his way in. After drying off, he built his shelter beneath a large tree, cooked his food, and settled in for a long, cold night. Camping alone in such an isolated area is something he had done before, but this time, something felt different. At 2:30 a.m., he woke up to the distant howls of coyotes. Not an unusual sound, but eerie nonetheless. He listened for a few minutes before retreating into his sleeping bag, too exhausted to dwell on it.
Alright guys, I'm gonna go to sleep. It's super late and I'm really tired. I'll see you guys in the morning. It's 2:30 in the morning. I woke up to go to the bathroom and I could hear some coyotes. They're way off in the distance. I don't know if you'll be able to hear them. I think you guys should be able to hear that. There's some barking off in the distance. Well, it's cold out. I'm gonna get back in my sleeping bag.
Coyotes were common in the area, and as unsettling as their cries were, they didn't pose much of a threat to him. By 6:02 a.m., he was awake again, this time to pack up and head out.
Good morning, guys. It is 6:02 and I am extremely tired. I slept decent last night, but I'm gonna pack out right now. It's still dark. It'll be dark for another hour or two. I'm gonna take down my shelter and pack on out. Alright guys, I'm hiking out of here. I was thinking about taking my shelter down, but I'm on private property, so it really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna leave it up for maybe another time.
The forest was still dark, a fresh layer of snow lightly covering the ground as he prepared for the 2-hour hike back to his kayak. The world around him was silent, the only sounds coming from the crunch of his boots against the frozen ground. Then, just as he began his trek, he noticed something strange. An extremely bright light appeared in the distance, cutting through the darkness. At first, he assumed it was a DNR officer or another camper, but as he looked around, he realized that didn't make sense. He was miles deep into the woods with no roads or campsites nearby. The area was so remote that no vehicles could have possibly made it that far in. He called out a simple, "Hello?" but there was no response. Nothing.
Hello? Hello?
The light was blinding, far more intense than any flashlight he had ever seen. His own dim headlamp barely illuminated the path ahead, making it impossible for him to see who or what was holding that powerful beam. Seconds passed and still, no response. Then, the light shut off. Instantly, the forest was plunged back into complete darkness. And that's when he heard it. the snap of branches in the exact spot where the light had been. Something or someone was moving toward him. Panic set in.
Hello?
His first instinct was to grab his brighter flashlight from his backpack, but in his rushed panic, he couldn't find it. His hands fumbled through his gear as he tried to remain calm. Whoever, or whatever, was out there wasn't running away. It was watching him. His heart pounded as he strained to see through the darkness. He had no idea how close it was. He quickly realized he had no choice but to move forward. The problem was that his only way back to his kayak required walking directly through the area where the light had appeared. Instead of walking straight ahead, he made a split-second decision to circle far around the area where the light had been. He moved quickly but carefully, trying to stay as silent as possible. His senses were on high alert, scanning the darkness for any sign of movement. As he distanced himself from the area, the sounds behind him eventually faded. Whatever had been watching him was no longer following. After what felt like hours, he finally made it back to his kayak. He took a deep breath, relieved to be out of the woods and away from whatever that was. Later, he realized that although his camp was on private land, the area he had to pass through was public land. This meant that someone else could have been camping out there too. But if that were the case, why didn't they respond? If it was a normal person, why would they stand in total silence, shining a blinding light at a stranger in the middle of the woods? Why turn the light off the second they were acknowledged? And most disturbing of all, why had he heard footsteps moving toward him afterward? To this day, he doesn't know the answer. Whatever the case, one thing is clear. This was not a normal night in the woods.
Before moving forward, I'll really appreciate if you would take some time to subscribe to the channel and join this amazing community. About 95% of you guys aren't subscribed. It's free, plus I got a surprise for you all once we reach 50,000 subscribers. Now, back to the video.
A nighttime exploration can quickly turn into a terrifying ordeal. And for the Don't Blink paranormal team, this experience was unlike anything they had encountered before. On a pitch-black night, they set out on another adventure, a journey that had already led them to strange places before. This time, their intent was set to stalker answers, referencing a chilling past event when they had found a mysterious note on their car.
This is where it all began with the stalker. This is where we found the note on our car when we was driving down the road.
We were over there when we noticed them.
Because there's the outhouse, and that's where that person was. See it?
Yeah.
All I see is spots.
With that eerie memory in mind, they arrived at a location that would soon prove to be even more unsettling. As they pulled up to their first destination, they immediately felt uneasy. They had barely begun filming when, out of nowhere, screams echoed through the night.
I don't know what that.
The sound was distant yet clear enough to send a wave of dread through them. At first, they thought it might be people yelling to each other, but as the screams continued, they weren't so sure. The group pressed on, following the path that had led them to this exact location. As they walked, the uneasy feeling intensified.
What does it say? See, there's a little path we started taking.
There's two paths. One there, and off to your right. Oh, there's a black, what is that?
Was what?
What is that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll show you in a minute.
That's when they saw it, a blackened tree, standing alone among the others. Unlike its surroundings, it was completely burned. Yet no other trees nearby showed signs of fire damage. The unnatural sight sent a shiver down their spines. Something about the lone charred tree felt deliberate, as if it was a marker for something they weren't supposed to find.
Because there is no other burnt tree.
Yeah. It's crazy how creepy this place is now.
Well, that was a scary night. That was like really scary.
Yeah.
Because we were driving down the road because that person was messing with our car.
Yeah. We didn't even realize, but they left a,
Then they spotted movement. A strange object, a stuffed animal, sat abandoned in the middle of the trail. At first, they assumed it was a real animal, but upon closer inspection, it was clearly out of place. The fact that it had been left in such a specific location raised more questions.
No, that's a skunk, but it's a stuffed animal. But the funny thing about it is,
yeah, it's a stuffed animal.
Please tell me you heard that.
I did.
Hello? Hello? Okay, I'm creeped out. Are you creeped out?
Before they could make sense of what they were seeing, they heard it again. The screams. This time, the sound was closer. Their instincts told them to leave, but they hesitated, debating whether to push forward and uncover more of the mystery.
That truck was loud.
Okay, well.
Then, a truck appeared in the distance. The vehicle passed by slowly, its presence adding an entirely new layer of fear. Was someone watching them? They wondered. With nerves on edge, they made the decision to leave.
What the note said.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
But the night wasn't over yet. Their next destination was set to an intent called unrested disturbance.
How do I move it on?
Ooh, we ought to do the necrophonic.
Well, pop. What is that?
I don't know.
That was a lot of noise in there.
Babe, what is that shining right there?
I don't know. Hang on. I don't know what that is in there.
I don't either.
What they found was enough to confirm their fears. The coordinates led them straight to a graveyard. The realization sent a wave of unease through them. The name alone suggested that whatever spirits resided here were not at peace.
Oh, goddamn, that scared me. Okay. Who's here with us right now? Hello? What the fuck?
I don't know what that.
As they explored the cemetery, the silence was deafening.
What the fuck is it? Fuck that.
What are you doing?
Babe.
Then, another sound.
I don't know.
Is that something? Eating something?
What?
I don't know.
It's not on us.
Like, fucking seriously.
A loud noise came from inside the cemetery as if something was moving among the graves. They froze, scanning the darkness for any sign of movement.
Hello?
Well, I would say
Whatever they had encountered that night, whether a spiritual presence or something else entirely,
anyone else here
had
with
left
us?
them puzzled.
other
But one thing
Theo.
was clear.
You
This
can
wasn't
talk to
just
us?
another random trip. Camping in the wilderness always comes with an element of risk. But for abandoned boys, their night in the woods turned into something far more disturbing than they had ever anticipated. The YouTuber had returned to a location where he had previously seen a massive, shadowy figure lurking among the trees. Determined to face whatever was out there, he ventured deep into the darkness, bringing his camera along to document the experience. At first, the night seemed calm, but as he pressed further down the trail, the uneasy feeling began creeping in again. He couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. Then, things took a turn.
Bro, what is that? Are you not seeing this? What is that? Like a cat. I think that was a cat. What?
As he walked, he suddenly heard something moving in the trees near him. He turned toward the noise, scanning the area with his flashlight, but saw nothing. Just as he tried to convince himself it was probably just a small animal, a shadow moved between the trees. A dark, human-like figure lurked just beyond his sight, blending with the dense forest. The figure was massive and seemed to move with intent. Then came the sound of something being thrown. A rock, or something heavier, was launched in his direction, landing uncomfortably close. He wasn't alone. Panic set in. He turned to his friend, who had come along for the exploration, and they both agreed it was time to leave.
I seen that shadow, man. I turned around, he was back in them trees right there.
Over here?
Yeah, right there.
Over here?
Yeah. What the hell?
Heard something?
You didn't hear that?
Yeah. What was that?
I don't know. Oh, I can't get up this hill, man. That whole thing's about to collapse, man. I don't know. It was something?
But as they started making their way back, they heard it again. More footsteps, more rustling. Then they realized whatever was following them was getting closer. The sounds of movement were no longer coming from just one spot. They were surrounding them.
Man, I don't know. It was something? What?
It's hard, man.
Nah, that sounded like somebody threw something. You tripping. Nah, that was somebody threw something, bro. Yeah, somebody threw something. Man, that's weird. What the hell is that? You saying what I'm saying? What is that? Did you see something? I thought I saw something against the wall. That was weird, man.
At this point, the fear became overwhelming. They tried to move quickly, but the uneven terrain and thick forest made it difficult to navigate. Then something happened that sent chills down their spines. They saw someone. A figure in the distance was watching them. Not an animal, not a shadow, a person. But something was off.
That's weird, man. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you saw something, because I think I saw something. You didn't see nothing?
I like it. Looks like there might have been something.
Man, I thought I saw something, man. You want to just go?
What you heard? There's a boat over there.
Where? What?
Look, what the hell is that?
What the?
I'm out of here.
Go! What the f-
The figure stood completely still, unmoving, just staring at them through the darkness. Then, suddenly, it vanished. As they frantically made their way back to the exit,
Did you see that? Is he still coming? What the f- Bro, man, what is... You kidding me, right? You kidding me right now, right? Did you seen something in the path, right? Didn't you?
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. Man, y'all playing, man. Y'all playing right now. Yeah, y'all playing.
You said you saw something.
Did you just hear that?
Yeah, what was it? What is it? Do something?
the feeling of being followed never left them. They kept glancing over their shoulders, expecting to see the figure closing in. Once they reached the safety of their vehicle, they turned off the camera and tried to make sense of what had just happened.
Listen. What the? Is that the? Which way? Dude, what the? Shh. Come on, dude. Are you serious? Which way? I don't know. Is it this way? Dude, I got turned around, man. I don't know. I thought you knew. Why you going back that way for? That's what, something's down there. Or is that the way? What? Man, you done got me turned around, man. What the?
All right, let's go this way.
Was it just another person in the woods? Or had they encountered something different? They may never know for sure.
What?
See that?
Oh, shh.
We gotta go.
Okay,
Somebody's out here playing with us.
okay, I'm out here Primetime Brown. There's some people in the woods. Somebody's following us. Look at this.
What is it?
Look at that. Are y'all seeing this?
Somebody's following us. What is that?
Who's this dude, man?
No, we gotta go, y'all.
Man, what the? Are you serious right now?
What do you want?
Yo, what's going on?
We gotta go.
Yeah,
We gotta go.
let's go.
I'm out of here.
Many believe that this was just an elaborate prank or a hoax, but there are some who believe that this video is real. What are your thoughts on it? As always, let it be known in the comments. For wildlife firefighter and nature photographer Curtis, what was supposed to be another routine day in the wilderness turned into one of the most dangerous encounters of his life.
Hey, Bear.
Alone in the forest, far from any immediate help,
It's okay.
he found himself face to face with a black bear. Despite its brownish fur,
Hello,
this was
bear.
indeed a black bear,
Hey, Bear.
a species that can weigh up to 500
get outta here.
pounds
I'm leaving.
and is known for its agility, speed, and unpredictability. Armed with nothing but his bear spray and survival instincts, Curtis remained calm. He knew that sudden movements could provoke the animal, so he maintained eye contact and carefully backed away, making himself appear as
Hey, Bear, it's
large
okay.
and unthreatening as possible. But the bear wasn't backing away. Instead, it began following him.
Hey, Bear. Whoa, Bear. Hey. Hey. It's okay.
Curtis kept his composure, understanding that running could trigger the bear's predatory instincts. Yet, as he continued moving, the bear persisted, stepping closer with every passing second. At several points, the bear climbed trees with effortless agility, circling back down. It wasn't acting like a bear that had accidentally stumbled upon a human and was choosing to leave. It was fixated on him. And that's when Curtis knew this wasn't just an ordinary encounter.
Whoa, bear.
In bear safety, a common rule is often repeated. If it's brown, lie down. If it's black, fight back. This suggests that brown bears, grizzlies, are more likely to attack out of defense, meaning playing dead can convince them you're not a threat. But black bears, if a black bear is stalking, it's likely not just curious, it's hunting. Curtis recognized the behavior immediately. The bear wasn't startled or fleeing. It was testing him, seeing if he was weak or vulnerable. If it wasn't losing interest, he had to prepare for the worst-case scenario. The tension escalated as the bear moved closer than ever before. Curtis had maintained control of the situation so far, but it was becoming clear that the animal had no intention of retreating. At this point, he had to act. Reaching for his bear spray, he released a quick burst of the deterrent, hitting the bear directly. The strong formula irritated the bear's senses, causing it to stagger back, shake its head, and blink rapidly. The intense burn forced it to retreat, giving Curtis the opportunity he needed to put some distance between himself and the predator. Though the bear lingered for a few moments, it didn't come any closer. The spray had done its job. Only then did Curtis allow himself to process what had just happened. He had survived, but the encounter left him unsettled. A bear that follows a person without fear, that doesn't scare easily, that lingers even after recognizing a human. That's a dangerous bear. For anyone venturing into bear country, this should serve as a serious warning. You never know when you might come face to face with something that sees you as food. And in that moment, your survival depends on how prepared you are. For Dan, an experienced camper and paranormal investigator, his winter camping trip started out as just another night in the woods. But by the time he left, he would have experienced one of the most unsettling nights of his life. Dan arrived at his chosen location deep in the forest and began setting up his campsite. The temperature was freezing, but he was well prepared with a heater, a sturdy tent, and enough supplies to last through the night.
Man, so that sun is going down super fast right now. I should have done the fire at the beginning like I said I was going to do, but I didn't. So I need to do that. I need to shut up, quit talking to the camera, and do that literally right now because I really want to get that going.
The early part of the night was uneventful, and as he sat by the fire, he reflected on his many previous camping experiences. But as the night deepened and the flames flickered lower, things began to change. At first, it was just a feeling, an odd sense of unease that he couldn't quite explain. Then he heard footsteps. They were faint at first, but unmistakable. Something, or someone, was moving just beyond the glow of his fire.
Listen. Was that you back there that I just heard? I definitely say that's a very positive response. If it tells me to shh, listen, and then...
He listened carefully, trying to determine whether it was just an animal or something else. The sounds were deliberate, slow, and calculated, not the quick scurrying of a small creature. Trying to make sense of the situation, he turned on his Spirit Talker app, which he often used during his paranormal investigations. Almost immediately, the device gave him a chilling response.
SHHH, listen.
SHHH, listen. It said shh, listen, but it doesn't have that, I guess, in the vocabulary, so it said SHHH, listen.
We're following you. He looked around, scanning the darkness with his flashlight, but there was nothing there. Then more words appeared on the screen. He's watching you all. Stay right here. These messages were deeply unsettling, especially given the strange noises he had already been hearing.
What happens at 9:30? Does that time have some sort of significance to it?
Was something really watching him? Then, from deep within the forest, he heard it, a scream. It was distant, but it didn't sound like an animal. The sound was human-like but distorted, as if someone or something was calling out from the darkness. Dan instinctively reached for his flashlight and started scanning the surrounding area. There was nothing.
In the PM. 9:30 in the PM. Is that you that I heard back there right now? Impersonation. Who's impersonating who?
At this point, most people would have packed up and left immediately. But Dan was determined to push through the night. He retreated to his tent, keeping his camera rolling just in case anything unusual happened.
I am just hanging out. Just got the rest of camp set up in the tent. Got my cot set up. Got my heater set up, which I need to turn on again. Just had the heater on a little bit ago. And I need to put it on again. Thankfully this tent, although it's thin, somehow retains heat extraordinarily well. I don't know how.
The Spirit Talker app delivered one final chilling message. They will attack. Dan tried to brush it off. He had used the app many times before, and while some responses felt eerily accurate, he always tried to maintain a level of skepticism. But as he settled into his sleeping bag, the uneasy feeling remained.
I got the camera ready. I got it plugged into a power bank. I got a fresh SD card in there. I don't have an alarm set, so there's a chance that I could sleep until 8 a.m., 9 a.m., who knows. But I am beat. I'm going to pass out. So have a good night, and I'll see you guys whenever I wake up.
At 1 hour and 14 minutes into the video, his camera picked up something truly terrifying. It started as a faint rustling noise outside the tent. Then, something touched the fabric of the tent. The sound was clear and deliberate. Not the wind, not a falling branch, but something pressing against the material from the outside. Then the sound of tent zippers moving. Something, or someone, was trying to get inside. Dan was completely unaware of what was happening at the time. He remained asleep, oblivious to the sounds that his camera was capturing. But watching the footage later, he realized just how close he had come to something he couldn't explain. Whatever had been lurking outside his tent had deliberately touched it, had messed with the zippers, as if testing whether it could gain entry. When Dan woke up the next morning, he immediately noticed that something was off. The forest was too quiet. Normally, by dawn, the woods would be alive with the sounds of birds and other wildlife. But this morning, there was nothing. Just an unnatural, dead silence.
Does my microphone work? Man, the microphone survived the night too. That's impressive. I guess when it's not as cold out as it usually is, the microphone actually lasts a lot longer. I guess I haven't been asleep that long, but like 4 hours or so. But it's like I don't know. It's early in the morning. It's past the part of being late at night and has now turned into early in the morning. You can see from my face, like, oh, man. I slept like a brick, though. For the time I was asleep, I slept.
He packed up quickly, still feeling uneasy about the events of the night before. It wasn't until he reviewed the footage later that he fully understood what had happened. The realization that something had been at his tent while he was sleeping was enough to shake even his most rational thoughts. Whatever it was, one thing was clear. Dan was not alone in those woods that night. Joy Vasquez and her sister went for a simple hiking trip in the morning, but what started as a routine trek along the Colorado Trail turned into 45 minutes of pure panic.
We got something.
It was 6:30 a.m. when they first heard it, a series of deep, chilling howls echoing through the dense forest ahead of them. The sound was unlike anything they had ever encountered before. They froze in place, trying to determine what kind of animal could be making such an unnerving noise. Joy was no stranger to wildlife. She had encountered mountain lions, bears, coyotes, and bobcats in the past and knew how to handle those situations.
A biker just went that way, and the sound got worse.
But this time, something felt different. There were no wolves in this part of Colorado. At least, that's what she had always believed. However, before leaving for the trip, a game warden had casually mentioned that wolves were migrating from Wyoming. That information now seemed far too relevant. The sisters weren't alone on the trail that morning. A lone biker approached and they warned him about the eerie sounds ahead. He dismissed their concerns and continued down the trail alone. Then, the howls got worse. The sounds grew louder, more aggressive. Joy and her sister exchanged silent looks of fear. Had the biker disturbed something? Moments later, 2 more hikers came into view. They all stopped in their tracks. The 4 of them stood frozen, listening to the unnatural sounds filling the air. This happened off camera, of course. They quickly decided their best chance at safety was to stick together. 6 people were safer than 2. Slowly, they pressed forward, their hearts pounding. As they rounded a bend in the trail, they finally saw the source of the sounds.
So of course that's in my thoughts where I'm hearing this down the trail. I don't have internet to figure out what do you do in this situation. I have movie knowledge, which is not helpful at this moment because I'm thinking, build a fire, which many people had already commented because I'm like, okay, bear mace against a pack, like I'm more likely to get maced in that situation. And again, like how many rounds can I really, pop off? I mean, and not my ammo. I don't want to go murdering things. Okay, needless to say, biker goes, we warn him, and he's like, I'll be fine. He goes, we're like, and we hear that sound. It was horrifying.
Through the thick trees, a hidden kennel appeared, housing 150 sled dogs. The horrifying sounds that had paralyzed them with fear had actually been nothing more than a team of sled dogs howling in the morning. Although the encounter ended in laughter, the sheer terror they had felt was completely real. Their instincts had been telling them something was wrong, and their minds had filled in the blanks. I wanted to end this video on a good note, so I chose this encounter. Unlike many of the other terrifying and disturbing experiences we've covered, this one tells us that not every eerie moment in the wilderness has a sinister explanation, and how in the right circumstances, the mind can turn the unknown into something truly terrifying. And with that, I'll take your leave. Thanks for watching till the very last. Please let me know your thoughts on the video and how you think we can make our videos better. Because at the end of the day, you're the ones who we make these videos for, and your opinion is what truly matters to us. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also, check out more disturbing videos which will be on your screen in about 3 seconds. I'm out.